Ireland have beaten Scotland by 27 points to 24 in the Six Nations Championship at Murrayfield. Just about. It was 24 points apiece, but a Johnny Sexton penalty has given Ireland the win. Their second win of the 2021 Six Nations Championship. Tadhg Beirne and Robbie Henshaw with the tries, Johnny Sexton kicking 14 points. Mike McCarthy, the former Ireland, Leinster and Connacht second row, joins us. Mike, I think the word is relief.
Absolute relief, and what drama there at the end. It was 24 all after Hamish Watson managed to somehow get over the line. He twisted and he turned and he eventually got over it. Had to go to the video ref, a bit like Itoje's try yesterday, but it was the grounding was ruled that it was a try. It was a great finish, but then some inspirational stuff from Ryan Bird off the bench, adding real impact. Just what you want your bench to do. He came off. He charged down Ali Price's box kick. He then followed it up with a tackle near the touchline, and then I think it was Jack Conan got in for the poach and the penalty. But what a kick from Johnny Sexton from the touchline, with Warren Gatland sat in the stand watching. An incredible finish, exciting finish, and a great performance by Ireland.
That is leadership. Over 900 points now for his country. That's what it's all about.
Exactly, and he completely orchestrated the game. I mean, questions about his age and his form coming into the game, and he does what he does best, and he just stood up. He led from the front. He put Ireland in the right areas of the field, kicked the corners, real confidence in kicking to the corners instead of taking the points at goal that were on offer. And I think that led into the team and gave the team confidence as the game went on. But I think it was a really strong performance from Ireland right from the start. Real physical in the carry. On the flip side, their defence was really good and physical. Their penalty count was very low. Set piece was good. They were getting on top of the scrum, and yeah, just a really good performance that Ireland can be happy with moving forward after that Italy game.
But we nearly let it slip, 24 points to 10 in front. Why was that?
Yeah, I think there was one stage we were just napping. The Hugh Jones try where he came on, I think it was a penalty from the scrum on the halfway. Scotland passed the ball to the right, and Hugh Jones just ghosted through like a bit of a napping defence. He just went directly in between two players. So we know against Scotland, if you clock off for 1 second, we know what the likes of Hogg and Finn Russell can do, and that's what they did. So I think it's just keeping that concentration for the full 80 minutes. But, to go away to Scotland, who had a great performance, beating England, as we know, it's a really good win. But perhaps Scotland were a little bit rusty. They haven't played for a month with that France game being cancelled. But, real positive signs going forward.
Before we talk about the positives, it is, suppose, worth, given you mentioned the tries they scored, pointing out James Lowe, a couple of defensive issues around his play. Could it cost him his international place now?
Well, yeah, I think Andy Farrell obviously believes in him, and we know what he does going forward. We know how big and physical he is in the carry going forward, drawing in defenders when he's carrying the ball, and what that does is narrows down the opposition's defence and create space. On the flip side, his defence, there's been a few questions asked, and I think it was himself and Hugo Keenan were kind of at fault for the Hugh Jones try. But we know Andy Farrell will back him, and he's continuously progressing in that area. So hopefully it continues.
I think the player of the tournament for Ireland so far has been Tadhg Beirne. Another try today and a great performance.
Yeah, he just backs it up week in, week out, and you wonder after a performance like that how much he's got left in the tank to go in again the week after. But he just does it. When he was at Scarlets, he did it week in, week out. He does it week in, week out for Munster, and now he's doing it week in for Ireland. The work rate he gets through. You look at the stats after the games. He's normally top for first arrival at the breakdowns, line-out steals, ball carries, etc., etc. And yeah, he was just real workman-like today. He got through so much work. And that's one area where Ireland really got on top as well is the Scottish line-out is, notoriously very strong, and Ireland really frustrated Scotland there. CJ Stander with a steal. I think James Ryan with a couple of steals. Tadhg Beirne, probably the Paul O'Connell effect. They really, really disrupted that Scottish line-out and gave them absolutely no platform to play from. You
played with Paul O'Connell, Mike. What is it that he's doing that's making this line-out effective for Ireland at the moment?
Well, I think first of all, it's that aura he brings just being in the camp, and the standards he sets within the camp, and everyone wants to achieve those standards, and those standards are higher than most other people's standards. So he's a great leader in terms of he's been there and done it and what he's achieved, but it's his attention to detail, and not just the line out where we saw against France, the line out for Ireland, the defensive line out was really good. They frustrated that French line out, and it's an almost instant impact from Paul O'Connell with the line out, especially in defence, but also the breakdown. I think today, the ferocity and dynamism at the breakdown, the reaction of the guys clearing the breakdown out, the reaction to the ball carrier was phenomenal, and there was a real nasty edge and bite to Ireland's breakdown today. So I'm just really excited about that performance. And there were questions asked whether it could be backed up after that Italy performance, which was a great win, but the answer is yes. Fantastic win today and performance.
And Robbie Henshaw is playing really consistent rugby at the moment. He scored the first try.
He scored the first try, and recently hitting his 50th cap. And not only that, on the flip side, his defence, he stopped DJ van der Merwe up the left-hand flank when he was racing towards a touchline. A bit of a try-saving tackle from Robbie Henshaw, and a real physical one against a big man. So yeah, he's playing really well and leading with his actions in terms of everyone else following him. So it's great to see.
It's a little bit of a worry that we didn't see Conor Murray at all. Like, we're 24-10 up. Maybe you want a bit of experience in there to calm things down, because it could have gone the other way, and just not to see him on the pitch at all. You Gibson Park and Sexton there for the whole time. That, to me, struck me as a hurler on the ditch is a bit strange.
Yeah. Well, we know what Conor Murray brings, that calming influence and tactical brilliance that him and Johnny Sexton have together. But Jameson Gibson Park's been playing incredibly well. He's a real live wire. And I thought he played really well today. He's played, maybe hasn't been given credit for how well he's performed over the last few games. So that's testament to, what the coaching staff and Andy Farrell think of him to keep him on in that real high intensity pressure situation. Obviously, Jameson Gibson Park and Sexton play together at Leinster, so they know there's that kind of togetherness there when they're in, dark, difficult places. So, real belief in him, and how exciting to have Conor Murray, and we didn't use him, but exciting to have that experience there as well.
A lot of talk and criticism at times about the attacking play and Mike Catt and that kind of thing. Did we see a lot of offloading today? Did we see width in the play? What was the general game plan? Did you see a clear identity from Ireland today?
I think there was a bit of progression. I mean, you can't compare the performance in attack versus Italy to Scotland, because we know the difference in the quality of the sides. But I think we did see a bit of progress. There's some lovely bits of handling, especially amongst the forwards. I remember some great footwork from Tyg Furlong.
The shimmy, great shimmy, wasn't it? He needs to trademark that.
getting Finn Russell back for skinning him earlier. But it's good to see, because not like maybe perhaps in the past we've been criticised for running directly into bodies, and it's great to see like that example from Tyg Furlong, a bit of footwork, moving the focus of the attack. When you teaching kids, you tell them not to run at the tree trunks, run at the branches. And I think we saw that today. And the offloads, they were pushing the offloads a bit more against France. That wasn't really pushed. Those 50-50s weren't given, and I think we saw a bit more of that today. But ultimately, the performance in attack came from the platform. The forwards gave them a great platform up front. The scrum was very dominant, definitely on top there. The maul was pretty good, and the forwards really laid the platform for the rest of the team to play well. And Ireland's picking and going game was very good as well.
Which players could be pushing for a starting place against England? Any of them now, you think?
Well, possibly Ryan Bird, because James Ryan went off there with possibly a head knock. I'm not 100% sure what the situation was, but Ryan Bird played brilliant. His first touch against Italy in his first cap, and then instant impact off the bench, as we've just spoken about there, with the charge down and the tackle on Ali Price leading to the penalty. So perhaps Ryan Bird, and it's hard to change a winning team, especially on the basis of that performance. But the bench is phenomenal as well. To have that bench, that power with Kelleher, Kilcoyne, Porter coming on, Baird coming on, Jack Conan, Murray didn't come on, Burns and Lama didn't come on. But that experience and that power and dynamism is very exciting to have on the bench. So I don't think we'll see too many changes. Obviously, maybe the concern now coming into the next game against England is they've had one more day to recover, which is quite a big thing in Test rugby. But certainly Ireland can take a lot of positives and go into that England game at home with a lot of confidence.
So you're not too worried that we didn't use the bench maybe a little bit earlier, like Kelleher and Larmer came on after the 60-minute mark?
Oh, no, I'm not too worried. I really do think it was a great performance by Ireland,
Yeah.
and Scotland, to their credit, they're a quality side, as we saw with their performance against England. Scotland also in complete control against Wales until the card situation arose. So I think Ireland can be really happy. They went away from home under a bit of criticism, and they produced and they really stood up, and led by that man Johnny Sexton from the front.
And the lads will enjoy the trip home. It's unusual. You can't celebrate as you normally would. Not that they really would be celebrating with another game to go, but they'll have a pep in their step now.
Oh, definitely. And I think a massive kind of bit of sense of relief and a real opportunity to go out and finish the campaign against England, on a high. And, what a way it would be to finish. England have proved to be real difficult opponents for us over the last number of occasions. England have certainly got on top of us in physically wise. To be fair, they've dominated us in that physicality aspect. So I'm sure going into the final game, that's going to be a big emphasis on a big finish and bringing a real physicality that puts them with a chance of winning the game against England.
And that's in Dublin next Saturday. How many levels do we need to go up, Mike, to beat England and finish this campaign with 3 wins?
I think we've got another gear, and hopefully we'll see a bit more progression. But against England, we know today Ireland had that platform. They had that set piece parity in the scrum, in the maul, in the picking and going game, in their defence. Scotland, testament. We know how dangerous Scotland are in attack, and we've seen it during the Six Nations. But they kind of contained Scotland. I know Scotland scored 3 tries, but they contained them a bit today with a real physical defence. They were winning the inches, winning the gain line. And I think if they bring that platform, they bring that physicality in defence and that dynamism and physicality in the carry, they'll be in a good place. But maybe they can, push the offload even more. Those 50-50s, which we didn't see at all against France, I think we can still push those a bit more and create even more opportunities for us as an attacking team.
There's not going to be much that's going to happen, really. It'll be a lot of... it'll be a decompression really now. There's not going to be that much done on the paddock. It'll be more about the tactics and the working out how we're going to attack England in a way that's going to catch them on the hop next weekend. You can't do that much now in the next 6 days.
No, it's a short window, and as we said, England have got that extra day to recover, which is massive in Test match rugby. But it'll be all about analysing this performance and then very quickly turning the page, moving on to the week ahead, looking at the threats of England. There won't be too much physical stuff. Monday, they'll be off Monday, so they'll probably have only one full day on the pitch, which will probably be Tuesday. It'll be a lot more analysis, a lot of walkthroughs, getting an understanding of the game plan and individual analysis, and hoping that they can come into that England game with a real freshness in the head, in the legs, which will allow them to bring that physicality that they need to play England. There's no point going into this week and knocking each other, bashing each other about, mauling and contact drills. You need to be fresh in the legs so you can bring that physicality at the weekend for the game.
Okay, Mike. Well, thanks so much for speaking to us this afternoon. And we've won, and we just about, but that's all that matters. We won the game, and we'll look forward to speaking to you soon. Mike McCarthy there. Get more on that result against Scotland on OTB AM in the morning and OTB PM tomorrow night.